Oh, hi, everybody. It's MJ from Ultra Love. How are you? So I'm gonna run through the notes for Gemini full moon update and also into our daily update here at Ultra Love TV. Did I say this already? I'm MJ from Ultra Love. Okie dokie. So, let's just crack on, shall we? Um, I've started doing the January 2020 readings. FYI, Ophiuchus and Sagittarians, you guys are done. So you can have a look at those, see if they resonate, book yourself some private readings. I'm currently doing a big promo for the Be the Change online courses because I'm getting ready to launch. So if you're interested in joining the Be the Change course launch, then go check it out on Ultra Love. If you buy all 4 courses, then you can get a free book and a free coaching session with me. So feel free. That could be a nice like holiday gift idea kind of thing. Okay, here we are. It is December 12th. Today is the full moon officially. It's been quite amazing because I guys told you I was guided to book a little cabin. I'm seeing a friend today. It's the election day in Britain today on the full moon. Fancy that. And the the cabin basically had a view of the mountain all night long. The mountain, the moon. um, yeah. So my my doors into the cabin, I could see the moon all night long. And then you guys know I wake up super duper early. So I good morning, Christian. How are you, my friend? Um, so the moon is still out there, shining down upon you. Let's just go through the notes for today, which is the Gemini full moon, and I have intuitive stuff, and then I have notes just from observing and listening to some other people as well. So Gemini is an energy often of duality, right? Yes, Christian. 12/12 on the 12th of the 12th. So it's a pretty, and that's all, those are all threes, right? And threes are all about truth. And so increasingly, this is such sort of potent awakening energy ultimately. So more veils getting lifted in the collective, more people having spontaneous spiritual awakenings. The information awareness is a little bit like overload as well. What up? And then today you have elections in the UK. You've got the continuing campaigning going down. What up, Cara? And so today the energy, uh, sort of intuitive energy that I'm getting around this full moon is really about like standing up in our truth, standing in our integrity, standing in our authenticity, right? And like I get that again, I get this duality of it, but like standing in our integrity, speaking our truth no matter what. And this is like this is part of the unity of shedding and of letting go, is that the letting go process is part of continuing to stand up in our truth no matter what. Hey Eddie, how are you, my friend? So like so regardless of the patterns coming up, regardless of the feelings of failure or rejection or you're not enough or you're never going to be enough or whatever the heavy patterns that we've carried for most of our lives, it's all coming up for us to kind of go, yes, I see that pattern, but no, I'm not going to feed it like I used to. Instead, I'm going to do this. Instead, I'm going to be part of my new reality. Instead, I'm going to stand up and speak my truth. Instead, I'm going to walk away from that relationship. Instead, right? So it's like, it's, yeah, it just is that. It's like our each moment, each breath we take, each day to day life that we're living, we keep having the option to choose, and more people are going to be choosing their freedom. More and more people are going to be choosing this awakening journey, because the other option, God, at this point, personally, it doesn't even feel like an option. It feels like death. It feels like, choose to be a zombie or choose to come alive, What up, Divine Sight? MJ Healing, loving listening to more. Nailing it. Well, this is a potent community, though, right? And this is with Adrian and some of the other astrologers that I know we all listen to, because I see your guys' comments on these people's posts as well. We're tuning to a very similar frequency when it comes to like that what's going on inside, right? And that's part of this paradigm shift, is that those of us sharing in this way, it's not even like we all have to be sharing in the same way. We just are who we are, vibrating what we're vibrating with the awareness that we have. And then when we meet on these online platforms, it's just an opportunity to affirm, like, oh yeah, that this is real in my awareness, and like this is also what I'm endeavoring to move through. And I believe that. I believe most of us are moving through it and beyond it, and our individual processing and owning and healing and all this stuff that we've been doing from within, that is only picking up speed across the collective, hence the awakening energy. I mean, not to mention the Schumann resonance. So like the spiking and increasing of the Schumann resonance is like the perfect biofeedback, I want to say the perfect biofeedback affirmation that Earth's frequency is rising. And yeah, so like certain lies or corrupted aspects of our structures, those lies can't withstand the lightness. They can't withstand the truth that is coming to light. And so the disclosure energy, as much as for some of us it's almost exciting, it's like we want more of this disclosure energy to come out. We also know the intensity of when you're learning information, love wins. Hells to the Yizza. When you're learning information that hits up against a belief system that, but my government wants what's best for me, or oh no, the media is just for entertainment. Like, we ignorance is bliss, right? It's like we can be under that veil, and then certain things get lifted, and you're like, what the flying fuck? Like, why? Why would people do that? What is um the love is so much. Yeah, and this is something, this is just coming to me now, where I'm like, and this is part of the piece, is that we have so much love. The love is the truth, is what we're like feeling into, being like, oh my god, people, you gotta get on this train, like you gotta get on the love train, because it's way fucking better. And then I'm just remembering that, but see, that's part of where more of the collective is starting to awaken to, and be like, oh, like that's a thing inside, and shit, I've been feeding the other one, I've been feeding the lies, I've been feeding the fear, I've been feeding the darkness. And again, we can only testify via the proof of our own personal experience with it, right? With love, with the light of our awareness, with transforming our darkness, with facing our shadows, with all that stuff. All aboard! Well, this is it, right? The 2020s. It's like we're linking vibrational love hands. Right? And oh god, and like, and then I have here, so intuition. um I'm hearing a song. People all over the world, join hands. Is that a thing? Join hands. Oh, ooh, I can't. I'm not. I can feel that tone is like really off skis. Okay, so stand up and be in your truth. I preach to the converted on this channel for the most part. I'm certain of it. So, because you guys are basically pioneers, you're standing up and you're let's copyright it right away. I know people have that, and I randomly got lucked in. I managed to purchase another domain name from All to Love. I was guided for sure. Anywho, So stand up and be in your authentic truth, whatever that looks like for you. I believe in you, like whatever that is, you know, it's so different for all of us. So, and then I have intuition and psychic abilities. That's kind of just ongoing, I would say. Like ever since I probably started this channel, that's been a thing that comes up. It's that the more we peel back, heal, process, integrate, whatevs, the lies, like the more we reprogram ourselves, the more we connect to infinite intelligence, is abilities and intuitive abilities coming online. We know this, right? We know this even via our online community, the way we've been connecting. And what I'm aware of even more so now is the ethereal, is the amount of work that's being done beyond the physical. A lot of communication, a lot of like, I don't know, it's literally like souls meeting up, having chats, harmonizing things, and then coming back into body. That's basically how it is. And like the conversations are clearing distortion, basically. But it isn't necessarily in our conscious state. It's happening beyond the veil. But we know when it comes to, we know that that's been going on. It's like talking about dream state work. A lot of doubt and distortion is being cleared during the dream state, right? Or underlying worries, underlying concerns, which again we're being asked to harmonize and unify that duality within. And that is probably one of the biggest bits. This is also affirmed via Adrian Elise. New client, nice, nice. We cleared so much for each other. Yeah, and then that just reminds me, it really is ongoing. It's in every moment. It's continuous. Everything that we do and everything that we are is evolving us. This is part of the kind of non-egoic standpoint of how humans, we get caught up in the rightness of evolution, and I'm just like, evolution is just expansion. It's just this eternal ongoing thing, and it's so I guess funny, or it's maybe how I feel into it is an arrogance of our human, the the egoic aspect of our humanity, this arrogance of like, this is how, this is what it is, this is what we've, and I'm like, but it's an on, it never ends, right? It never ends. So it's not like there's one specific piece. However, of course, intuition coming online, having those connections which are continuously biofeedbacking off of our own. And we find that as these beings, that more people, like often is the case that empaths would say, like people just randomly share their life story with me, and we'll feel that as far as like having a bit of a deeper sense of how transformational just our beingness is. That's the idea that words don't teach, vibration does. So more of us will even notice just certain people coming into our field will have quite a dynamic impact on their reality. Whether they choose to accept the mission, it's again, it's up to them, or you know, whether or not they want to be that responsible. But and that's a big piece, I think, with the increase of the awareness is also the increase of the responsibility in oversoul and oversouls. Yeah, I can see that. That's part of the raising upness of it, isn't it? Okay, so harmonize, so Gemini is that aspect of duality within us. It's also obviously the externalization of our own inner conflict. So this is the wrapping up of the base tones of our, so this is it's very personal, but as we know, our own personal transformation is the transformation of the world. So the personal inner work that we're doing, and probably have been doing for like the in more intensely the last few months, but ultimately lifetimes, the last few years, there's this a feeling of acceleration process itself, like of actually what we're doing. And so in from within ourselves, there's this greater clarity that we're beginning to see what the battle is, where we push against, parts that we want to deny, parts that we want to run away from, parts that we just wish weren't there. I'm facing aspects like that. Like there's certain parts I'm looking at, I'm like, why? But why that? You know, why can't I have it like this person? Or why can't I do it like that? Or why can't it just be easy for me there? And that's part of my own test. I'm like, can I just love myself and accept myself regardless of that? Can I just keep showing up regardless of whatever patterns I think I'm never going to be able to shed, right? So we're harmonizing and really being asked to essentially unify and love all of our densities, you know? So these are the polarized aspects that align with distorted male female, a distorted perception of the light dark, i.e. the false light, you know, the chasing of the light, and then the denial of the dark. So we're to gain the superpowers from it. Yes, and that's the momentum building, right? That's the momentum building of just keep going, of just keep going. It's not. It really does sometimes feel like sludging through or slinging through the mud or whatever. Someone says, is that Adrian who says that? I'm not sure. So we unify those polarized aspects of the good, bad, the right, wrong, the male, female, and I'm really beginning to see more of that program being lifted as well. Like the divide and conquer between the sexes is a very powerful, very very powerful construct. The more healing is happening from within that, in the female and the male species, but it is profound and greatly misunderstood when we're in our direct manifest relationships. There again, it's to do with social indoctrination. All men think like this, all men act like this, all women act like this, all da 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 da. That is all falling away. That individuation construct of our beingness is essentially following not the individuation, but rather the polarization, the duality of it, you know. So which then this means, of course, that with greater unified beings vibrating on the planet, eventually the new paradigm unions will they've been coming together for a while now, but more new paradigm emotional or energetic leaders will be unifying and come together. That will then extend the field. That will extend the marriage extends love, doesn't it? So the unifying, the coming together of the soul tribe, and like even our community here, when we congregate, for example, as we land the timeline, for example, say the all to love timeline, we can then like really, we can congregate once a year, we can meet, we can amplify our energies and unify them that way. But that's so much about the 2020, isn't it? We've met, we've unified in essence on the ethereal level, 5D internet, and then when we meet in the physical, it's like the landing of that energetic vortex, right? Or just the manifestation of what's already been laid down. So this full moon ultimately is a great leap of our unified field, you know, in our ability to shed and let go of the pain of the past, the distortion of the past, the false beliefs about who we are, about what our bodies are, about what our lives should look like, about how we make money, about what we're worth, about how the world works. Like all of that is falling away. We're just literally laying it down. Right. And then I basically just said that. So then the next point is that the clearing and healing of false identities, the hurts, the wounds, the powerlessness, the low fear vibes, the out of control aspects that are pointing to the false. This is also coming from somebody's share recently, but essentially all of these areas of our lives that have appeared to be out of our control to a certain degree are still by our higher selves choosing to have these things appear to fall out of our control because they're literally healing our control patterns. That's how I interpret it anyway, because it's almost like I still believe on some level I've chosen it. right? Otherwise, that would be disempowered. So, why have I chosen this? So, I've chosen this to let go of this, and I've chosen this to look at this again, and I've chosen this to go, da, 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 da. And like you keep going round and round until the bass tones are basically dropped, and then, and essentially, to the best of your ability, becoming as triggerless around certain things as possible. And then once you flip it around, like once it really becomes flipped, i.e., so instead of getting triggered by a certain thank you, I did something to it which makes it more calm. Um, when it's almost like when it reverses. So instead of being triggered into fear, being triggered into gratitude, or noticing the fear and then being like, but thank you. I'm so appreciative of having to pay bills and stuff like that. I'm so thankful for coffee as well. Can I just sidestep this chair and go, cheers, coffee. That makes me want to like get down and party. It's almost the weekend. I wonder if I'll go out. Um, so yeah, ooh, there. So I get a sense of a large portion of the collective. That's basically what the 2020 Astro is really leading us to. Is that the preparation, the intense preparation of 2019 is preparing us, and like again it's one and the same thing. So as long as we're still kind of like going over it, we're still going over it until we're not going over it anymore. And then once we're building the new, we'll be like, oh yeah, remember when we like remember when we used to talk about bass tones? Like remember those stories that we once shared together about how fucking intense life is? Yeah. It's like once a certain portion of the collective transforms those bass tones to not be vibrating them anymore, then there's like this whole wave of energy that can move into a different quicker as well. And this is always like that the sort of mathematical sciencey bit of it is like when you feel into the quantum, it's that so once enough humans endeavor the consciousness leap, it can be more instantaneous for more people because it will be easier to believe. It'll be easier to anchor as truth. But of course, there's different aspects, functions. There's different functions happening in the reality as far as like even all the suffering and the crises and the chaos is all part of triggering the awakening. Um, So I think really what I just got a side note which I could try to explain, but I've been because doing research work for Unplug for Freedom, I stumbled upon a documentary slash small Netflix series called The Family, and it's talking about this guy named I think Doug Coe, and it's about kind of like I guess you could say like a secret society, but it's very religious in its nature, very Jesus oriented. Um, and there was this one bit, and I haven't finished watching this series, but there's this one bit about triggering a mass awakening, and then that got me into like, fuck, is this paradigm shift controlled? This is just worthy of noodling, because then it gets me into like, is freedom even a potentiality at all, or is it? I mean, is it all an illusion? Yeah. I suppose our freedom truly is in our own choosing that, but at the same time, within the freedom, this is part of unity consciousness. Within the freedom, what we recognize is that we're still endeavoring to live in divine law. We're still endeavoring to live in unity with whole. And so so what the trust piece is, the trust and surrender and the trust and faith in allowing the process of life to take hold of you, to almost take over your life, is a surrender to the divine will, right? Because the divine will is that which can organize itself in accordance with the divine of the whole. So the divine blueprint of Earth's transformation is our own if we allow it to be. Resistance is simply that which dictates that I know more than whole, part of the corruption of separation consciousness that we're here to heal. But on a mental level, there's no specific knowing other than, and there, dare I say, the intuitive knowing is a broader, more truthful knowing, even though it's invisible to a certain degree for a lot of people until it's not. And then as it continues, and as this awakening energy, and as more beings are vibrating on clearer, lighter frequencies in their quotient, like it's just natural, more people will be able to instantaneously shift to new paradigm energies. Ugh. Like there's something about that, the veil, and then the intuition and the sparked awakening. See, and that's also part of divine function and having no judgment. Because that's another piece of the burden that a lot of us are being asked to release, to lay down the burden of a false construct of thinking that we're at all here to save a self or other. Because it's already saved. However, let's come back to the notes, shall we? I digress. So clearing, healing false identities, hurts, wounds. So some of us, like even recently, I became really aware of like another mother wound, which was just very obvious because I like heard my mind say things that my mom used to say, that I had a conversation which then reflected that was her carrying, and now I'm reclaiming self. But the way I'm seeing those base tone patterns is just a little bit different and quite childlike. And that relieves me as well because it's my innocence. I can just relieve the burden because it's not mine to carry. Off the shoulders, just as you gestured. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think as well. Like there's two times this flared up. Once in October, got back from Morocco. After I healed the actual shoulder twingy bit, then I had 2 months in a row, right around the same time each month. So in October and then again November, there's this funny like rash thing that appeared, and I knew it was like another layer of sort of goo that was coming out of my body around that side, which is all interconnected with our base tones. I'm just getting that now. So all of our that makes perfect sense, MJ. You're not a rocket scientist. So the processing that we're just in it. Like there's no, it's not like we have to try to do this stuff. But the shedding of these densities is one and the same as shedding the false, is shedding the woundedness. It's shedding the false construct of separation ultimately, and then it's all bringing us back to the wholeness of our truth, which curiously is that which we desire: peace, freedom, love, beauty, creativity. Those things that we desire are inherent to our freedom. They're inherent to the bliss and the truth that we are in our eternal state. It's just that never would maybe we have guessed when we were being indoctrinated by the world of the 3D that it could be this miraculous, that it could be this beautiful. And so it takes a while to unravel the density patterns to then come into the unity space of love. And then to keep coming back, because that's kind of all it is a continual just keep coming back, just keep coming back, just keep coming back, just keep coming back to love, you know, like in any given moment. But certainly the areas that we've been totally triggered by, as far as like the crazy shit that's happened to our lives in probably the last couple of years, some of that might start to make a little bit of sense. And then from where we left off before all the crazy out of control shit started to happen, that is where we can kind of pick up from. So I'm thinking end of 2017, a bunch of crazy shit started to happen in my life that was out of my control. And now it's and actually now it's starting to nice. That reminds me as well, starting to come back to that where we left off. Just very pure example is like my mom had to leave the country, and then she got deported, at the end of 2017. I got dumped at the end of 2017, and then I'm still dumped. I'm still single, but um, but all these years later, my mom's making another application, which is almost certainly going to go through because there's now documentation and proof. So all those things that were kind of starting to lift 2 years ago are now g- g- picking up where they left off, kind of thing. But all the time in between, there's this sense of like being washed clean, being improved, being more humble, being more present. And then you said something about, oh, full circle, the knife in the back. So this might be relevant to more of this community as well. Jamie's talking about ethereal weaponry, stuff that you feel, sense intuitively. Some healers will see them as well. I believe you're talking about the ethereal. It's like the black goo we're talking about, isn't it? Veil, right? But it's energetic chords or energetic densities that are invisible to the human eye, especially when we're under the veil of the 3D construct, right? So so sometimes when we're doing healing work, we can feel into like contraptions, like she said, a knife in our back. It could be a knife in our heart. It can be a dagger in our side. It can be, I had healers remove like a metal, it was like a metal contraption that was fixed around the jaw, and then they removed that shortly after ethereal. Yeah. um, it was right around the time I started my public speaking, right? So it makes sense that I need to have that removed. And there was also this sort of like connection to religious orthodoxy and time, and there was like a clock that had to get removed there, lifetimes it was there. Yeah. Another one that might be relevant for some of us that I've been recently working with is like almost like this sort of mechanical spider right at the back of the neck. And so I've had multiple times now a vision of like, and again, these are different bodies, like different celestial bodies, but having to remove that having to remove that like out from the neck. And then if there's any hole or wounding or residue, you just fill it with light, basically. So I've been healing that energy, which we know is also connected to the womb energy and the creation energy. And so there's definitely a connection to our inherent freedom, stargate, soul connection, in having any, yeah, any either contraptions, daggers, knives, mechanical, uh, kind of bizarre, but the back of the neck energy had this. It's so funny when I'm speaking it out loud. I'm like, but when I've started extracting the mechanical spider from the back of the neck, there was like these different little bots, almost like these different, one, like all the cells, so all the cells of false distortion. So when you take the motherboard out, all of the little bots are sort of going like, and so you activate that, and then again, it's just a process of like feeling into like possibly where they are and then shining them out. Because you, when you activate your full lightness, those lower density forms of control, uh, manipulation, distortion, falsity, again, if it's like a mechanical contraption, it's not an inherent, it's not a natural part of your of your body. And when, if you're more connected to your stargate, you're more connected to your light body. So the more connected you are to your light body, you can basically just shine that shit out and be like, could you not, could you get out? And they oftentimes, these again, like little bot like energetics, they just kind of like they burn up. They just, your light has the power to sort of burn them down or burn them up. They don't, they're, it's sort of like those almost cartoon like, or in commercials, the little like germs, and then you're like I don't know what sounds I'm making, but the light of your awareness basically it has like power of the central sun. So you could just shine the light on any bot in your being and just 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 snake fart that shit right out of your body. Oh my god. Oh Malanta. Holy shiznazzle. Shiznizzles. Um so okay, that was and I digress. Let's talk snake farts and spider robots and black goo, obviously. But however, back it all makes sense. It all ties in. All of this is essentially supporting us into 2020 new energies where we're tuning in and then I think I have this as like a technique for us. Uh two two videos, DS more please. Uh Send me an email. Send me an email if you have specific requests. I tend to respond better now to the email. I don't even like respond to Insta messages. Anyway, so this is I think some kind of reminder of the practice where it's I just have breathe, peace, love, reset. Breathe, peace, love, reset. Breathe, peace, love, reset. And then activate and invoke the divine vision. Keep activating the divine vision within. That's the process. And then these are more notes. So the process is rebalancing us. So healing, separation. That is the paradigm shift. Like the paradigm shift is healing the perception of separation. One allows us to live in greater harmony and compassion on this planet with one another, and separation has us feeding the fight flight response and fear and has us perpetuating military war complex and poverty. So it literally is just a shift of our consciousness, an evolutionary leap, a quantum leap. It's weird to me sometimes. I'm like, it's not that complicating, actually. It's not that complicated. But one could also testify that you have to have a certain amount of openness, mental clarity, heart activity, blah, blah, blue, blue. That all has to be online to abstract thought in such a way to perceive what we're even talking about, if you feel me. Well, because most of us here would know that we've had conversations with people where they're just like, are you talking about politics? Or anyway, but that's like 15 years ago. People are much more aware and awake now. I did a face mask this morning. I'm feeling a lot more glowy today. Oh, MJ's talking about her fucking aesthetic. Stop that. Stop that. Get on the floor. Stop that. It do. I don't like that's not even a song, but it is in my mind. I'm a rap DJ. So we're rebalancing, we're learning, and in essence, like a huge piece, not to like, well, you guys know this already, but we're learning to honor the feminine within. So it's basically been like years of just learning how to integrate and love and learn how to nurture ourselves again. Thanks, Alf. Hey, Alf. Hi, from Nepal. Nice to see you here. So you're so funny. Thank you. It should be a cute. There's like this little cringe-worthy part of me that's like, no. But boo. So yeah. So this whole rebalancing has literally been about humanity remembering their feminine side. Like remembering that they're meant to love themselves and that they should love themselves and that it's good to love themselves. And then that helps them rest and recalibrate and become healthier regardless of all of the rights and wrongs that imbalanced worldview would have us buy into to keep us all divided and fragmented. Instead, we're coming into this kind of wholeness, and this honoring of the divine feminine is ultimately what allows us to take divine right action, which you could say is the masculine. So the inner work of the feminine energy of going, you're okay, that, all that love hot vibration all over the place That is helping more humans take action in their divine masculine. You kind of can't have one without the other. You know, you can't be doing all this divine love work and then act out like a dick. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, but you know what I mean, right? You can't act like a complete asshole if you're filled up with love heart vibration. I mean, the love heart vibration makes it like, ow, ah. If people are doing harm to one another, you're like, ah. And people are doing harm to the planet, you're like, ugh. What did I see? I'm sure you saw one of your posts, Elf, about picking up the trash. And you're right. There's that. You said something in that video about, you know, people, it's like a repeat. People just keep throwing it down, expecting somebody else to clean it up. And I'm like, that is the beauty of these teachings. I'm like, no one can do this work for us. At the same time, getting around being whole and awesome and yay and like empowered for sure. At the same time, open to support, open to love, like open to receive, basically. Because if we're still always just focused on giving of self, we're not are actually open to receive all the goodness that we've been giving all our lives. So there is this this, I feel like, this kind of final push to really give in to the trust, give in to the love, give in to being totally supported by the divine. You be a divine creator, what God loves you, all that kind of shit. So learning to honor the feminine, that we're coming into wholeness, because the masculine is already quite overactive, so we need loads of feminine and energy to just be like, it's okay, and then let both parties kind of break down to evolve our species. So fears faced, deeper unworthiness, deeper doubt, deeper cellular fear patterns are coming up to the surface of being, so that we can keep shedding, and walking in the new. We're right there. I really, really feel that we're right there. I mean, I never imagined it would. I mean, I thought like January, woo, and then nope, fuck-a-doodles. Oh, March, woo, fuck-a-doodles. Okay, summertime, Portugal, woo, it's just fuck, and then like I had a vision. Was it yesterday meditation? I'm not sure. So years and years ago, in another big transformational cycle, I had a vision when I was meditating, but it was like visceral. I've probably mentioned this before. It was like a visceral feeling where in the meditation, so I'm just sat there meditating, as you do. And in the meditation, I was like clutching on to the edge of a cliff, and it was at a point in my life where everything was going to shit, basically, and I let go. And in the meditation, my stomach dropped, like, so it was my imagination. Are you guys following this? It was in my imagination, but in the imagination, deep in meditation, I let go of the cliff face, and I fell, and then me sitting in meditation, in the vision, when I fell, my actual stomach dropped, and I was like, whoa, I never had that before, and I knew in that moment I let go. This time round, it was a bit of a different vision, but also very visceral. It was, oh yeah, a little bit comical as well, because I think this time around I was thinking about sharing. It wasn't on the YouTube last time round. Swing slightly. Yes. There's a, that. It does feel like that. It's like getting closer to that center point, but the swinging in somewhere you could feel like, ah, whoa, ah. But really there is this, I can feel it. I can really resonate with that. So the vision, this time round was, I was actually on the side. I was sort of on the precipice of a cliff. I wasn't like clutching on to the edge. I consciously put myself on the edge and I jumped. And there was a couple different visions. One, I jumped and was like making great stride, and then suddenly got to the middle, and then just started plummeting. And this is sort of like the last few years, energetic, and then plummeting to the sea and having to swim and find or catch some waves and, you know, go to the next shore. The other vision that I got was like catapulting myself off of this cliff and then hitting like going with such speed, ah! And then basically hitting the cliff face on the other side quite violently. And like hitting it and just be like, ah, 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 and like getting there and realizing, fuck, I've either got to drop here or I've got to keep climbing here. So this time around, the energies have been a little bit different, but I sense that that is simply because we're more aware. We're more aware of the energetic dance that a being is going through as they evolve themselves in these bodies. So we shall continue to see, right? Wile E. Coyote. What's Wile E. Coyote? Is that a cartoon of sorts? I don't know. Oh yeah, baby. I still got a little bit of coffee on the go. Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, don't go too fast, otherwise nobody will be able to catch you, kind of thing. But then, do we want to be caught? I think we do. Because it gets lonely. It gets lonely out in front of the gate, you know? You don't want to be jumping continuously from one cliff to the next with no friends. It's like, guys, look what I found. It's fucking paradise. And then there's nobody there to enjoy paradise with you. You're like, that sucks. But that's not going to happen to us, you guys. Oh, man. This is where, like, literally, like, I share here and I'm in stew. Word! Julie Olsen, what up? In the house. The cliff face, then like sliding down to the bottom, just being like, right, you can't cheat it. There's no cheating life, you know, like there's no escaping yourself. You have to keep facing yourself. So I might think I'm gonna jump to another cliff. No, I'm still gonna have to transform all the shit that's weighing me down, all the bullshit that keeps me vibrating on that old cliff face, right? I can't. There's no quick fix, basically. I don't think, other than pioneering your own consciousness. Which I dare say nobody has answers for each other, other than like we can just love each other and support each other. I swear that is the biggest. Dang it. Dang. I love that word, by the way. Dang instead of damn. Dang. Yeah, you have to flow with it. You have to be at one with it, basically. Let's get some cards. Ooh, Hierophant. Ooh, baby! There's a new beginning in love here, y'all. And the Hierophant does feel mega, mega powerful. I'm hearing, hey Danielle, how are you? Hi from Canada. Hi from England. Yeah, I'm getting that you're some of you are really rising your own authority, and there's the Ten of Pentacles, you guys. I just want to make out with this card. Bring me the money. So, Ten of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, new beginning, emotional new beginning. Hierophant feels really reading for some reason. And then the Coral and the Page of Swords. So Messenger, there could be for some of you guys. Oh, hi! Oh, cool. In the house. In you, woman. Lovely. The facts is the solar journey, the vibe tribe is growing stronger. Definitely, Elf. I feel that as well. I know it is. Well, yeah, I know we're here. We're here vibrating together. You know, it's funny when I do these updates, especially if I kind of leave the reading to the side a bit, and then as we've had chats. So this is obviously the energy for the full moon, the Gemini full moon today. Full moon fams, yo. So this we've chatted about this full moon, authenticity, truth, clarity, still shedding, still letting go, right? And This feels really quite important. It feels very turning point-esque to me. Um, for some of you, I feel that there's a younger air sign. This is a messenger. This is possibly somebody younger than you who's very mentally switched on, who wants to offer you take you on a date. But because the Hierophant's there, it could lead to something more substantial. This feels to me simply that for those of you working on any creative projects, you're right in the like the belly of the beast. You're this might be the most challenging bit, but you're getting there. You're definitely getting over the other side of it. Why do I sense that? Because there's this card here, right? I want to go. I want to be with you and be in the sweat lodge. Oh, beautiful. Flying high, bird woman. Yes. Oh, Danielle, let us all join together and do some dancing and singing around the fire and have a sweat lodge. Interesting as well, because I've definitely been putting it out there. I'm like, I really have a desire to be on retreat soon. So, and then what was me, Julie? Julie. Oh, yay, yay. Creative projects through hell. Yeah. Yeah, so you feel me, right? Um, and depending on our own personal star sign inclination, that getting over this brr is a pretty big piece. Now the reason again I feel like you're over the worst of it is that there's money coming in, so the money is going to be flowing to you. Oh, okay. And then that's clarity, basically. So just be mindful for some here. This card, to me, what I get, this is another angle using it, is like basically I feel that some of you are still a little bit giving your power to externals. So the blindfolds here around like, I can't do this or I can't do that. I feel like it might have something to do with a relationship as well. But here, this means, oh, Julie, I love you. I'm guilty. Yeah, we all are though, aren't we? We all have those in different life cycles and layers for sure. This feels to me like love, and there's potentially a connection here. Ding, 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 ding. Some sprightly young, passionate. I'm getting this sense of like a speedy hit mind. Somebody sharp and intellectually stimulating, which is stimulating your cup of love. Around the creative projects, there's definitely ding, 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 this energy. We're getting over the hardest bit. We're getting over the kind of crux point of the creative project. For some of you, the love is something quite serious, possibly leading to commitment, leading to a higher level, or people are taking relationships to another level. And then this card, the being in the prison of your mind, I can intuit that it still has something to do with giving our power to the external world. Ha! Yeah, cold in Canada right now. So you guys, that's a little bit of the cards for today. We know this with the full moon. Creative projects. Ooh, I'm intrigued. Send me a message. But this is the thing about the cards, my lovers, is that it's you. Like, this is the beauty of intuition, right? It's like, and I think that's why I think the cards are quite cool. I never thought that I would like them as much as I do. But they're whoever they're meant for, right? And so we create it as much as the creator is creating it, if that makes sense. And that could be taken very broadly as well. I just said we create, but as well as the creators creating it. That's why I'm like, fuck, really truly, like why do we stress about anything ever? Like we got it with we're the creator and the creator created us, and like we got a creation basically. We're good to go. Yes, cold, keep you warm at heart. Yeah. Yes, at 12. What's that? Next level. Next level. Creator and creation, right. And then Julie, you remind me of like how that brings it back to how our emotions reign supreme. Emotions, intuition. And this was a big part of the share as well, was the Gemini. It's unifying. We've been working on the femme, we've been working on the divine feminine, we've been working on the self-love, and now we can express it. Now we can create and move our creations into the world. I feel that's going to be let's get one more. Hi, next level. I know. Did I really do this to myself? I know, it's despairing. Well, yeah, or higher self did that to yourself. Like, higher self, and that's part of the releasing of the burden of the responsibility piece, is that I'm like, well, here, I put myself in this situation. Come on, higher self, make sense of this for me, and then it does eventually, usually. But then that reminds me of like why control does nothing for nobody. Because then what's the fun? Where's the fun? I'm like I'm like I just in the last 2 days likes to live on the edge. And then there's like this little part of me, this sort of childlike essence. I'm like, of course you do, MJ. You're an adventurous taker. Come on, you're infinite. Why not? I'm literally just talking Ross right now. I feel like I might have to have a little nap before I go out again. I've been up since like 2 o'clock. Okay, this all makes perfect sense. Living on the edge. I can't help myself from falling. Hey JK, how are you, my friend? I'm hearing Kanamanachia. So, these cards are Osho cards. This was the first one, which is everything that we talk about. New paradigm, new vision, new world. This card is coming up increasingly. Whenever this card comes in, I'm like, this is it. This is it. Like, we're here going, ready? Like, are we ready to move ourselves into this creative new energy? It makes me think, one of you actually sent me a message, I think, about this. They're like, I feel this great calm, but then it makes me think about the calm before the storm. And then that hit me. I could barely read the message because I was like, ugh. Like, almost anticipating like shitty storms, basically. Like, oh no, more storms. And then but then in the truth of it, I was like, it is like a calm before the storm. Like, lots of amazing, new, wonderful happenings are gonna unfold. Borealis, and are your ancestors dancing in the skies? Happy they brought us to be well, alive, future beloved souls. Oh, I love this. I love it. What up, Elliot? Just ride the eye, darling. That's a really good way to put it, which I think more and more of us are just better at it. Hence, like, living on the edge. It's just, we're just better at. And then guidance. So, and this is perpetual, but for a lot of us, it must continue. Even me going away for the night, it wouldn't have been a practical thing to do necessarily, but I needed to do it, so I followed intuition guidance. Regardless of the circumstances, do something! And then tuning in. I think this is also part of it. I've been age 20 days. Those daily updates she does, like, yay to intuition. She does a bit of meditation, a bit of kind of grounding, a bit of bringing us back into peace and wholeness, which is great, ultimately. So, and it's in group, so that's something that's kind of nice to do. Because there's a collective energy, and there's the soul tribes, there's like the intimate soul tribes, and then the broader soul tribes, which are connecting globally. It's something about like the privileged few. So it does have to do with like a tier of our humanity which are in a kind of privileged bracket, but not elite. So there you go, you guys. Full moon in Gemini. Feel free to, do your ceremonies. Intend. Part of me, I'm almost feeling like, just be yourself. it's already done, you know. Like I express this from my own person as around um like just keep letting go, basically. Keep having faith, keep loving yourself no matter what, keep resting when you need rest, reach out when you need support, invest in things you want to invest in, you know. Just love yourself, be compassionate for yourself, have forgiveness for yourself. Yeah, keep purifying, keep loving, keep, and we're good. We're good. We're on it. We're already there. We already made it. We're already walking in heaven, kind of thing. And the full moon tonight is very, very glorious. There's been clear skies, so I've really been able to enjoy the energy of the moon. I hope that that was useful to you guys. Look forward to seeing you real soon. I'll continue with the January 2020 readings, and much appreciation for your guys' donations, your likes. Online entrepreneurs need to survive, so I love you guys. Oh yeah, and join the live share crew. You just reminded me, Divine Sight. Join the live share crew, my lovers. Everything is on the Ultra Love website. Feel free to go check it out. Most importantly, have a wonderful day, and just keep choosing love, my lovers. Nice, Elliot. Sleep well, my friendlies. I'll speak to you guys real soon. Peace out.